Welcome, dear friend, to Sleepy Wiki. Find your most comfortable stillness now. Allow your shoulders to gently soften, your jaw to release, and let your breath become a slow, comforting rhythm, a soft tide within you, washing away the day's last echoes. Tonight, we turn our gentle gaze towards a familiar yet often unseen landscape, the quiet, boundless realm of the daydream. It is a place where thoughts dance like slow-motion clouds across a summer sky, where our inner world paints its own ephemeral masterpieces upon the canvas of our waking mind. For millennia, humanity has drifted through these subtle inner currents, crafting narratives, envisioning possibilities, or simply allowing the mind to wander without purpose or pressure. We'll explore this ancient universal art of mental meandering, this gentle, unbidden journey through our own quiet consciousness, a sacred space where the imagination softly unfurls. If these quiet journeys bring a whisper of peace to your evening, a soft tap on the like button or a gentle subscribe would be a kind way to help our Sleepy Wiki grow, sharing these tranquil explorations with others seeking rest. Now, let us float softly, mindfully, into the boundless, gentle expanse of the daydream. The quiet hum of the world outside begins to fade now, doesn't it? As the day settles into its slumber, our minds, too, often seek a different kind of quiet, a gentle inner space where thoughts unfurl like slow opening petals. This is the realm of the daydream, a mental landscape we visit far more often than we might consciously realize. Imagine, if you will, that your mind is like a vast, shimmering lake. Most of the time, our attention is a boat sailing purposefully across its surface, navigating toward specific shores, tasks, conversations, immediate concerns. But every now and then, without conscious effort, the anchor lifts. The sails slacken, and the boat begins to drift. This tranquil, unmoored journey is, in essence, what science calls mind-wandering, or spontaneous thought. It's when our thoughts disconnect from the immediate external environment and embark on an internal expedition. This isn't idleness, dear listener, not in the way we often perceive it. Far from it. This gentle drift is a sophisticated operation of your magnificent brain. Scientists, in their quiet laboratories and through intricate imaging techniques, have identified a particular neural network that becomes especially active during these moments of inward turning. They've named it the Default Mode Network, or DMN. Think of the DMN as the brain's very own internal storytelling engine, the quiet hum of your mental operations when you're not actively engaged with the outside world. It's like the backstage crew of a theater, busy arranging sets and rehearsing lines even when the main show isn't on. When your attention isn't demanded by a specific task, this DMN gently awakens, allowing your thoughts to roam freely, weaving together memories, imagining future scenarios, and reflecting on your sense of self. It's truly your brain's default state of introspective engagement. And how often do we embark on these journeys? Well, studies peering into the silent workings of our minds suggest that we spend a surprising amount of our waking hours in this state, anywhere from 30 to 50% of our time. Imagine that, nearly half of your waking life. Your mind might be gently cruising through its internal seas, painting vivid pictures, replaying old conversations, or drafting future plans. These aren't chaotic storms of thought. Often, they are calm, narrative currents, flowing quietly beneath the surface of our conscious awareness, rich with mental imagery and a sense of unfolding story. For much of human history, however, this beautiful, quiet drift of the mind wasn't always understood or appreciated. If we cast our minds back through time, we find that early philosophers and thinkers often viewed daydreaming with a wary eye. In ancient Greece, for instance, a mind that wandered was sometimes seen as undisciplined, lacking focus, or even morally weak. The ideal was often one of rational, directed thought, engaging directly with the external world and its truths. To be lost in thought was to be lost from reality, a distraction from the serious business of life or philosophical contemplation. It was almost as if the inner lake, if it wasn't being navigated with purpose, was simply a sign of idleness, a shimmering pool reflecting nothing but fleeting, unproductive fantasies. The very word daydream was itself, when it emerged more clearly in language, often carried connotations of escapism, a turning away from responsibility or productive effort. Yet, as societies evolved, so too did our understanding, or at least our artistic appreciation, of this inner world. The Romantic poets and artists of later centuries, for example, found profound beauty and inspiration in these inner voyages. For them, the daydream wasn't a flaw but a source of creativity, a secret garden where imagination bloomed and profound truths could be intuited. The wandering mind became a muse, a conduit to deeper emotions and artistic expression, painting canvases of possibility and composing symphonies of unspoken feeling. Then came the dawn of psychology, and with it, new lenses through which to view this enigmatic mental state. Sigmund Freud, the pioneering psychoanalyst, saw daydreams as much more than idle fancies. For him, they were a kind of safety valve for the unconscious, a way for our hidden desires, wishes, and unresolved conflicts to find expression in a safer, symbolic form. He even referred to daydreams as the foreplay of the creative act, suggesting they were a crucial preparatory stage for more conscious creative endeavors, allowing the mind to rehearse and explore possibilities without the pressure of reality. His contemporary, Carl Jung, offered a slightly different, yet equally profound, perspective. Jung believed that daydreams, particularly those that felt rich and symbolic, could be windows into the collective unconscious, a reservoir of universal experiences and archetypes shared by all humanity. For Jung, engaging with daydreams through what he called active imagination wasn't just idle fantasy. It was a powerful tool for self-discovery and integration, a way to connect with deeper archetypal patterns of the psyche. Both Freud and Jung, in their own unique ways, shifted the understanding of daydreaming from mere distraction to a meaningful psychological process, rich with symbolic content and vital for understanding the self. However, for a period, as behaviorism dominated psychological thought, the study of internal states like daydreaming fell largely out of favor. If it couldn't be directly observed or measured, it was deemed less relevant to scientific inquiry. The inner lake was ignored in favor of only studying the boats that demonstrably sailed. But like the gentle turning of the seasons, understanding eventually shifted again. With the cognitive revolution, In the mid-20th century, and particularly with the advent of advanced neuroimaging techniques, scientists could finally peer inside the living brain and observe its activity in real time. It was then that the true nature of daydreaming began to reveal itself, not as a sign of intellectual laziness, but as a fundamental and highly functional cognitive process. The discovery of the default mode network, which consistently lights up when our minds are at rest from external tasks, was a watershed moment. It transformed our scientific understanding, elevating daydreaming from a mere distraction to a function, an essential mode of mental operation. We now understand that these quiet mental voyages serve a multitude of vital purposes. When your mind drifts, it's not just meandering aimlessly. It's often quietly engaged in problem solving, allowing disparate ideas to connect in novel ways, fostering moments of insight and creativity. It's also a powerful tool for future planning and goal setting, simulating different scenarios and rehearsing potential outcomes without having to actually act them out. Think of it as a mental dress rehearsal for life's many performances. Moreover, daydreaming is crucial for self-reflection and developing empathy. It allows us to process our experiences, understand our emotions, and even put ourselves in others' shoes, fostering a deeper sense of self-awareness and connection. Even memory consolidation. The process by which your brain organizes and stores information benefits from these moments of gentle mental rest. So the next time your mind wanders, know that you are not being unproductive. You are simply engaging in one of humanity's oldest and most profound mental acts, a gentle yet powerful journey inward that has captivated, puzzled, and ultimately enriched us for millennia. It is a testament to the incredible complexity and adaptive beauty of the human mind. As we've journeyed through the quiet history and scientific revelation of this remarkable inner drift, we've come to appreciate its universal presence and profound importance. Yet beneath this universal experience lies remarkable diversity, for not all daydreams are quite the same. Having glimpsed the many forms these quiet journeys take, let us now peer deeper into the very fabric of the mind itself. What luminous pathways light up within your brain when thoughts begin to drift? What is truly happening within the intricate cosmos of your brain when your thoughts wander, untethered from the immediate world? It's far more than simple idleness. It's a symphony of subtle activity orchestrated by remarkable structures known as neural networks. Imagine for a moment the inside of your skull, not as a dark, silent chamber, but as an endlessly intricate, softly glowing city. Within this city live billions of tiny, shimmering residents, your neurons. Each neuron is a miniature star, capable of sending and receiving whispers of electricity, faint pulses of information. When these stars connect, forming pathways and constellations, they create what we call neural networks. Think of them as the highways, the bustling markets, the quiet libraries, and the grand concert halls of your inner world, constantly communicating, constantly alive. Now, when you're not intensely focused on a task, perhaps you're simply gazing out a window or lost in the rhythm of a quiet afternoon, a very special network within this luminous city gently awakens. It's called the default mode network, or the DMN. You might think of it as the brain's quiet hum, the background music that plays when the main performance isn't center stage. When your conscious attention shifts away from the outside world, this DMN gently takes the reins, guiding your mind on its internal journey. The DMN isn't just one single point. It's a beautiful constellation of interconnected brain regions, each playing its unique part in the grand ballet of daydreaming. There's the medial prefrontal cortex, nestled just behind your forehead, which acts like your brain's personal storyteller, helping you think about yourself, your experiences, and your future. It's where you process me and mine, imagining different versions of who you are and who you might become. Then, deeper within, we find the posterior cingulate cortex and the chia precuneus, areas that are like the brain's memory keepers, gently sifting through past events, retrieving cherished moments, and weaving them into the tapestry of your present understanding. Further back, the angular gyrus and the temporoparietal junction come alive, serving as the brain's synthesizers, adept at combining different kinds of information, understanding perspectives, and imagining scenarios that aren't real, but feel wonderfully vivid. These regions, working in concert, allow you to step into the shoes of others, to conjure entire worlds within your mind, or to simply let a stream of seemingly unrelated thoughts flow and merge. It's this intricate dance of the DMN that allows your daydreaming brain to do so much more than just zone out. It's a powerhouse of internal processing. Imagine your brain as a wise old artisan, sitting quietly in their workshop when the day's orders are done. Even in stillness, their hands are busy, not making new things, but carefully polishing existing tools, sketching new designs, or simply organizing their space for tomorrow's creations. Your DMN works much the same way. During these moments of gentle wandering, your brain is actually engaged in incredibly important work. It's rehearsing for the future, running simulations of potential scenarios, whether it's planning your next conversation, imagining a future vacation, or simply mentally preparing for what tomorrow might hold. It's a subtle form of practice, ensuring you're a little more ready for whatever life brings. Your daydreaming mind is also a profound space for self-reflection, and building your identity. It's where you solidify your sense of self, reflect on your values, and process emotions without the immediate pressure of external demands. It's like having a quiet, internal conversation with yourself, piecing together who you are and what truly matters to you. And this continuous inner narrative, supported by the DMN, helps you maintain a coherent sense of self across time and experiences. Perhaps most wondrously, these neural networks, in their default mode, are veritable engines of creativity and problem-solving. When your conscious mind lets go, ideas that seemed unrelated can suddenly connect in novel ways. It's often during a shower, a walk, or simply staring into space that an aha moment strikes. This is your DMN at work, making unexpected links, exploring unusual pathways, and allowing new solutions to gently emerge from the depths of your subconscious. It's also crucial for memory consolidation. As you daydream, your brain is diligently working in the background, weaving new experiences into the vast, intricate tapestry of your existing memories, strengthening connections, and ensuring that what you've learned and experienced becomes a lasting part of you. It's a continuous, gentle update to your personal library of knowledge and experience. And these neural networks are not static. They are wonderfully dynamic. With every thought you think, every memory you revisit, every future you imagine, the connections between your neurons subtly change. This incredible ability is called neuroplasticity, and it means that your brain is constantly reorganizing itself, like a forest gently growing new paths or deepening existing ones with each passing season. Your daydreams, far from being idle, are actively shaping the very architecture of your mind, making it more resilient, more creative, and more uniquely you. So, as your mind drifts in these quiet moments, know that it is not simply disengaged. It is, in fact, engaged in profound, essential work, orchestrated by the beautiful complexity of your neural networks. It's a testament to the incredible wisdom of your brain, which knows that sometimes the most productive thing you can do is simply let your thoughts wander. And just as our neural networks work in subtle harmony, we will soon discover that these same remarkable systems create not just one kind of daydream, but a rich variety of inner experiences, each with its own unique texture. Now, let's drift a little deeper into this wondrous realm of internal thought and discover that daydreams are not all cast from the same mold. Just as a garden holds a multitude of blossoms, each with its own unique scent and hue, our inner world hosts a rich tapestry of daydream experiences, each with its own distinct flavor and structure. Imagine, if you will, that our minds are vast, interconnected landscapes. Sometimes our thoughts simply meander, like a gentle stream tracing an effortless path through a quiet meadow. This is the essence of what scientists often call spontaneous mind wandering. It's the most common form of daydreaming, an effortless flow of consciousness where one thought simply gives way to another, often without a specific goal or direction. You might be folding laundry or staring out of a window on a long train journey and suddenly find yourself thinking about what you'll have for dinner, then what you did last weekend, then a funny memory from childhood. These are the whispers of our default mode network, a constellation of brain regions that hums with activity when we're not focused on an external task. It's our brain's resting state, busily processing, consolidating, and simply existing, creating a kind of background symphony of self-generated thought. The structural elements here are often quite fluid, fragmented even, like a collage of fleeting images and sensations stitched together loosely by an underlying thread of self, as we are often the silent protagonist or observer in these mini narratives. But our inner landscapes are not only made of meandering streams. Sometimes we deliberately sculpt our thoughts, much like a gardener carefully tends a rose bush. These are our more focused daydreams, often involving what's known as prospection, the elegant dance of thinking about the future. Perhaps you're mentally rehearsing a difficult conversation or planning the perfect itinerary for a dream vacation. Here, the daydream becomes a living blueprint, a mental sketchpad where you can try out different scenarios, consider outcomes, and feel the emotions associated with them, all within the safe confines of your mind. Science tells us that these future-oriented thoughts are incredibly valuable. They help us set goals, solve problems, and even prepare for potential challenges. The structural elements in these daydreams are often more defined, a clearer narrative arc, a cast of characters, even if it's just you and a projected version of someone else, a sense of progression, and a much stronger emotional tether, often toward hope, excitement, or careful consideration. It's here that our executive control network, typically responsible for focused attention, subtly collaborates with our default mode network, ensuring our inner narrative serves a purpose. Yet, not all daydreams are quite so gentle or constructive. Just as clouds can gather and bring a storm, some daydreams can feel heavy, drawing us back to difficult memories or worries. These might be called guilty dysphoric daydreams, or often rumination. Perhaps you're replaying a past mistake, analyzing every word you said, or worrying about a future challenge with a feeling of dread. These daydreams often possess a looping, repetitive structure, like a broken record playing the same unsettling tune. The emotional content is, understandably, more intense and often negative. Regret, anxiety, sadness. Our minds in these moments are trying to make sense of things, to learn, but sometimes they get caught in a mental loop, much like a tiny boat circling aimlessly in a whirlpool, unable to find its way out. The structural elements here are often dominated by self-referential narratives, strong emotional resonance, and a tendency to replay specific scenes or conversations with haunting clarity. And then, there are moments when the internal landscape seems to go utterly still, a blank canvas where nothing appears. This isn't a daydream in the traditional sense, but rather a momentary lapse in attentional control, sometimes described as mind blanking. It's that curious moment when you're asked what you were just thinking about, and your mind is simply empty. No thoughts, no images, just a brief, quiet void. It's as if the mental projector has been switched off, if only for a second. On a more intense end of the spectrum lies a phenomenon known as maladaptive daydreaming. For some individuals, daydreams can become extraordinarily vivid, immersive, and all-consuming, creating intricate, detailed worlds complete with characters, plot lines, and rich sensory experiences that can rival waking reality. Imagine stepping into a magnificent, intricately detailed novel of your own creation, where you are the author, the director, and often the star. These daydreams are so compelling that they can absorb hours of time, sometimes to the detriment of real-life responsibilities and relationships. The structural elements of maladaptive daydreams are exceptionally complex. Highly detailed narratives, often with a consistent internal logic over long periods, strong emotional attachments to the characters and events within the daydream, and a profound sense of presence within the imagined world. The line between inner and outer reality can become incredibly blurred. It's a testament to the sheer imaginative power of the human mind, even if, for some, it becomes an overwhelming force. So, as you can see, the architecture of our daydreams is incredibly varied. They can be fragmented snippets of thought, carefully constructed plans, haunting replays of the past, momentary blanks, or even entire sprawling fictional universes. But regardless of their specific type, they often share common building blocks: a narrative, however brief or elaborate, an emotional landscape that colors the experience, and a temporal fluidity, allowing us to journey effortlessly between past, present, and future within the blink of an eye. Our brain's various networks, from the default mode network that handles our spontaneous thoughts to the executive control network that helps us focus, work in subtle harmony, orchestrating this endless internal symphony of thought. It's a remarkable testament to the complexity and richness of our inner lives. And as we understand these different varieties, we can begin to appreciate the many roles daydreams play in our daily existence, guiding us, challenging us, and sometimes simply entertaining us. We've explored the forms they take, their varied architecture, but beneath these structures lies something deeper still, the invisible currents that set them in motion. What gentle forces spark these journeys? Let's explore that next. Picture, if you will, the serene surface of a calm, vast lake just before dawn. It holds reflections of the sky, pristine and still. Then, a single dewdrop, barely a whisper, falls from a leaf overhead. It creates a tiny ripple, a perfect circle, expanding slowly across the water, disturbing nothing violently, yet changing everything subtly. This tiny, almost imperceptible nudge, my dear friend, is much like a catalyst in the grand chemistry of our minds. In the world of science, a catalyst is a wonderful, invisible helper. It's a substance that speeds up a chemical reaction without being used up itself. It helps molecules find each other, encourages them to transform, to combine, to break apart, all without becoming part of the final product. Enzymes in our bodies, for instance, are biological catalysts, orchestrating the countless reactions that keep us alive, silently guiding metabolic processes without ever losing their own form. Now, imagine this concept applied to the delicate machinery of thought. What are the catalysts that spark a daydream? Often, they are not grand events, but rather the gentle, almost shy whispers of our environment or our inner state. Perhaps it's the rhythmic hum of a train, a monotonous task that frees our attention, like folding laundry or washing dishes. These repetitive actions require just enough focus to keep us grounded, but not so much that our deeper cognitive resources are fully engaged. This low cognitive load acts as a quiet catalyst, inviting the mind to wander. Or perhaps it's a specific scent, the faint memory of blooming jasmine on a summer night, or the comforting aroma of old books, suddenly awakening dormant pathways in our memory, leading us down a nostalgic alleyway we hadn't intended to visit. Even an unfulfilled desire, a half-formed question lingering at the edge of awareness, or a fragment of a conversation overheard, can act as a catalyst. These are the subtle dewdrop moments, creating that initial ripple. They don't force the mind to wander, but rather, they lower the energy barrier, making it easier for our thoughts to begin their gentle drift away from the present moment. They encourage the brain to shift gears, to explore new connections. Much like a chemical catalyst, lowers the activation energy for a reaction, making it more likely to proceed. This is where the idea of immersion comes into play. Think of immersion as being entirely, wonderfully, profoundly submerged in an experience. When you are truly lost in a gripping story, painting a picture, solving a complex puzzle, or composing music, your entire being is focused. Your brain, in these moments, is a finely tuned instrument with its executive control network, ECN, and task positive network, TPN, working in beautiful harmony. These networks are like the skilled conductor and the brilliant lead musicians of an orchestra, directing all the mental resources towards the task at hand. The ECN, residing primarily in the prefrontal cortex, is responsible for maintaining attention, inhibiting distractions, and planning the steps necessary to achieve a goal. It keeps your focus sharp, like a powerful spotlight, illuminating only the stage where the action is happening. When we are immersed, the world outside seems to recede. Time can warp, shrinking or stretching, becoming irrelevant. You are in what psychologists call a flow state, a joyful, effortless engagement where challenge meets skill perfectly. In these moments, mental wandering is minimal, almost non-existent. The brain is efficiently processing information related to the task, not allowing much space for external or internal distractions. The noise of everyday thoughts quiets down, and a profound sense of presence takes over. It's like being carried by a strong, steady current in a deep river, effortlessly moving in one clear direction. But even the most powerful current can encounter a slowing, a widening, or a gentle bend. And this is how the dynamics of mental wandering begin their subtle dance. When the task becomes less demanding, or when the external stimulus that once captivated us fades, or when a catalyst, like that faint scent or repetitive hum, begins to work its magic, the state of deep immersion starts to loosen its grip. The conductor of our ECN and TPN begins to relax. The spotlight on the immediate task dims, and other parts of the brain gently awaken. This is the moment when the default mode network, DMN, steps onto the stage. The DMN is not some idle part of the brain, as its name might misleadingly suggest. Rather, it is incredibly active when our minds are not engaged in an external task. It's a vast and intricate network of interconnected brain regions, including parts of the medial prefrontal cortex, the posterior cingulate cortex, and the angular gyrus, that hums to life when our attention is turned inwards. Think of the DMN as our brain's internal storyteller, our future planner, our inner autobiographer, and our social architect, all rolled into one. When the DMN activates, it often initiates what we experience as mental wandering. It's a beautifully intricate dynamic, almost like a gentle tug-of-war between the ECN and the DMN. When the ECN is highly active, focusing on the external world, the DMN tends to quiet down. But as the external demand decreases, the DMN rises to prominence, allowing our thoughts to spontaneously generate and explore. It's not a competition in the aggressive sense, but rather a graceful transition, a changing of the guard, guided by the brain's assessment of current needs and environmental cues. During these DMN-led wanderings, our minds are not truly idle. Far from it. This is where we relive past memories, reconstruct conversations, envision future scenarios, plan our next steps, or ponder the motivations of others. The DMN is crucial for self-reflection, for understanding our own identity, and for processing emotional experiences. It's the silent workshop where creativity often sparks, where disparate ideas connect in novel ways, and where potential solutions to problems can quietly emerge from the depths of our subconscious. It's like an internal compass, constantly recalibrating and orienting our sense of self within the vast landscapes of time and social interaction. So, from the gentle whisper of a catalyst to the profound depths of immersion, and then to the intricate dance of our brain networks, mental wandering is revealed not as a flaw, but as a fundamental dynamic process. It's a testament to the brain's ceaseless activity, its innate curiosity, and its profound capacity for self-organization and exploration, even when we believe we are simply resting. And as these gentle thoughts settle, we begin to sense that beneath this dance of networks and catalysts lies something even deeper, ancient, invisible forces that shape not just when we daydream, but why. What hidden currents guide these mental voyages? What unseen forces stir the waters of our inner world, prompting these effortless excursions into imagination? For beneath the surface of our conscious thoughts, a deeper, more ancient wisdom is often at play, shaping the narratives and scenes that unfold within our minds. Plow. Think of your subconscious mind as a vast, deep ocean, stretching far beyond the shores of your everyday awareness. While your conscious mind navigates the surface, tending to the immediate tasks and sensory inputs of the waking world, the subconscious works ceaselessly in the profound depths. It is here that countless observations, memories, desires, and anxieties reside, often unspoken, yet profoundly influential. These are the subconscious drivers of our daydreams, the silent architects of our mental escapes. Imagine the moon pulling at the tides with an invisible yet undeniable force. In a similar way, our deepest needs and unresolved questions exert a gentle gravitational pull on our thoughts, drawing them towards certain themes or scenarios during moments of mental repose. Perhaps there's a problem you've been wrestling with, a decision you need to make, or a longing you haven't quite articulated. These unspoken concerns don't simply vanish. They recede into the subconscious, where they often find a curious form of expression through the canvas of a daydream. Sometimes, a daydream might feel like a gentle nudge from your inner self, a soft whisper revealing a hidden aspiration. You might find yourself envisioning a future career, a peaceful home, or a personal achievement, even if these thoughts haven't fully crystallized in your waking agenda. These are often the seeds of future plans, tended by your subconscious, testing the waters of possibility without the pressure of immediate action. It's a safe space for your nascent desires to take shape, a mental blueprint drafted in the quiet hours of your mind. And what of the past? Memories, both cherished and challenging, can also act as powerful subconscious drivers. A particular scent, a snatch of music, or even a fleeting thought can become a thread, pulling your mind back to a significant moment or relationship. This isn't mere recollection. It's often the subconscious attempting to process, to heal, or to learn from past experiences, revisiting them through a new lens within the safe confines of your daydream. This continuous background activity of our minds, particularly noticeable when we're not focused on a specific external task, is beautifully orchestrated by what scientists call the default mode network, or DMN. This intricate network of brain regions becomes highly active during states of mind-wandering and self-referential thought. It's like the brain's own internal monologue, where it processes information, retrieves memories, and plans for the future, all without conscious direction. The DMN is essentially the neural stage upon which many of our daydreams unfold, a testament to the brain's incredible capacity for internal self-organization. Beyond merely understanding why these daydreams appear, let's explore their profound psychological utility, the valuable work they do for our inner world. Far from being idle diversions, daydreams are powerful tools for mental well-being and cognitive function, providing a quiet laboratory for creativity, problem-solving, and emotional regulation. One of the most remarkable utilities of daydreaming is its role in problem solving. Have you ever struggled with a complex issue, only for the solution to seemingly pop into your head when you're showering, walking, or simply staring out the window? This isn't magic. It's the quiet genius of your daydreaming mind at work. When we allow our minds to wander, we're giving our brains the freedom to make novel connections, to sift through disparate pieces of information gathered over time, and to combine them in new and insightful ways. It's as if your subconscious is playing a vast game of mental chess, exploring countless scenarios and strategies without the constraints of conscious effort, often arriving at an elegant solution that your focused attention might have overlooked. The brain's executive functions, involved in planning and decision-making, are subtly engaged during this process, making these mental rehearsals surprisingly effective. Daydreams are also fertile ground for creativity. Many artists, writers, and innovators speak of moments of eureka that arose during periods of mental detachment. When our minds are free to roam, unburdened by external demands, they become a kaleidoscope, rearranging familiar elements into unexpected and beautiful new patterns. This process, often linked to divergent thinking, allows for the generation of a wider range of ideas, breaking free from conventional thought patterns. So, when you find yourself lost in a whimsical scenario, your mind might actually be rehearsing a masterpiece, composing a symphony, or designing a groundbreaking invention, all within the silent theater of your imagination. Moreover, daydreams serve as a vital mechanism for emotional regulation and processing. Life presents us with a myriad of feelings, some joyful, some challenging. Daydreaming offers a safe, low-stakes environment to explore these emotions. You might replay a difficult conversation, imagining different outcomes, or mentally rehearse a future interaction, preparing yourself for potential emotional responses. This mental rehearsal allows the limbic system, our emotional center, to process feelings without the intensity of real-world consequences, helping us to understand, to cope, and even to heal. It's like having a private garden where you can tend to your emotions, allowing them to bloom, to be examined, and eventually to gently fade or transform. Furthermore, daydreams are crucial for our future planning and goal setting. Our minds have an extraordinary ability to simulate future scenarios, a process often referred to as episodic future thinking. The hippocampus, a brain region critical for memory, isn't just about recalling the past, it's also deeply involved in constructing these future possibilities. Through daydreams, we can mentally try on different futures, envisioning how we might achieve a goal, navigate a challenge, or celebrate a success. It's like charting a course before setting sail, allowing us to anticipate obstacles and strategize solutions, all from the quiet comfort of our inner world. This mental simulation helps to strengthen our resolve and prepare us for the paths ahead. Finally, daydreams offer a subtle form of self-exploration and identity formation. As we wander through these internal landscapes, we often encounter reflections of our deepest values, our core beliefs, and our evolving sense of self. These moments of inward focus, strongly associated with the DMN's role in self-referential processing, help us to understand who we are, what truly matters to us, and what kind of person we aspire to be. It's like holding up a gentle mirror to your soul, allowing you to glimpse the contours of your authentic self, guiding your growth and understanding. So, as we bring this exploration to a close, let us appreciate that our daydreams are far from empty reveries. They are intricate works of our subconscious mind, performing essential psychological labor, quietly shaping our understanding of the world, ourself, and our future. They are the unseen hands that gently knead the clay of our experiences, preparing it for the conscious sculptures of our lives. And as we appreciate these subconscious gifts, we might wonder, could these quiet mental rehearsals offer us something more? Could they sharpen our minds, kindle our creativity, and illuminate paths we hadn't seen before? These fleeting moments of mental wandering are far more than mere idle diversion. They are not simply escapes from the present, but rather profound journeys within, rich with hidden purpose and remarkable gifts for our minds. Imagine, if you will, that your brain is like a vast ancient forest. When you are focused, keenly observing the world around you, you are walking on its well-worn paths, purpose-driven and alert. But when you allow your mind to wander, to unfurl its tendrils and explore, you step off these paths and into the deeper, quieter groves, a place where some of the most intricate and vital work truly begins. This tranquil inner landscape, this fertile ground of reverie, is often where our brains engage in what scientists beautifully call the default mode network, or DMN. Think of the DMN as your brain's quiet, internal operating system, humming softly in the background when it's not preoccupied with external tasks. It's a network of interconnected brain regions, a silent orchestra conductor that takes the stage when the spotlight shifts away from the immediate external world. When you're lost in a daydream, this DMN is particularly active, diligently working behind the velvet curtain of your consciousness, shaping thoughts, weaving memories, and rehearsing future possibilities. It's less like turning your brain off and more like redirecting its immense power inwards, allowing it to roam freely, gather scattered pieces, and connect them in novel, surprising ways. One of the most profound gifts of this internal wanderlust is its role in self-reflection and personal narrative. As the DMN activates, it allows us to gently turn the gaze inward, reflecting on our experiences, processing our emotions, and consolidating our sense of self. It's like sorting through a chest of old photographs, arranging them into a coherent album, understanding the story they tell. We might mentally replay a conversation, considering what we said or how we felt, not to dwell, but to integrate it into our understanding of who we are and how we interact with the world. This quiet introspection, born of reverie, is crucial for building a stable, evolving sense of identity, helping us understand our motivations, our desires, and our place in the grand tapestry of life. Beyond self-understanding, the DMN is also a magnificent architect of our futures. While lost in thought, we often engage in future planning and mental simulation. Our minds don't just recall the past. They project forward, imagining scenarios, weighing outcomes, and mentally rehearsing potential actions. Perhaps you find yourself picturing a conversation you need to have, or envisioning how a project might unfold, or even just daydreaming about your next vacation. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a powerful cognitive tool. By mentally simulating events, our brains are essentially practicing, preparing us for real-world interactions and challenges. It's a dress rehearsal for life, allowing us to explore various paths without the pressure of immediate action, fostering a sense of preparedness and reducing anxiety when the actual moment arrives. But perhaps the most celebrated and enchanting aspect of reverie is its profound connection to creativity. Have you ever noticed that brilliant ideas often seem to arrive when you're not actively trying to think about them? When you're showering, walking, or simply gazing out a window, lost in thought? This is the magic of the default mode network at play. It acts as a fertile ground for divergent thinking, the ability to generate a multitude of unique ideas from a single starting point. While focused thinking narrows our attention, daydreaming broadens it, allowing our minds to make unexpected connections between seemingly unrelated concepts. It's like casting a wide net into the ocean of your subconscious, pulling up treasures you never knew were there. The DMN, in collaboration with other brain networks, becomes a silent workshop where new ideas are forged. Scientists have found that people who engage in more mind-wandering tend to perform better on creative problem-solving tasks. This is because reverie often facilitates the incubation effect. Think of a difficult puzzle you've been grappling with. If you step away from it, let your mind drift, and come back later, the solution often seems clearer, as if it had been gently ripening in the background. Your DNN was likely working on it, sifting through information, trying out new combinations, and connecting disparate pieces of knowledge, ultimately leading to that wonderful aha moment. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes the best way to find an answer is to stop looking so hard and allow your mind to wander. Moreover, daydreaming isn't just about internal benefits. It extends outwards, enhancing our social cognition and empathy. When we daydream, we often create elaborate scenarios involving other people. We imagine conversations, ponder their perspectives, and mentally step into their shoes. This process, often called mentalizing, strengthens our capacity for empathy, our ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It helps us build a richer, more nuanced understanding of human relationships, preparing us for complex social interactions and fostering deeper connections with those around us. It's like a mental theater where we can explore the vast spectrum of human experience, learning to navigate its currents with greater wisdom and compassion. And let us not forget the gentler, soothing powers of reverie. In moments of stress or anxiety, a soft, undirected daydream can offer a much-needed mental respite. It's a momentary escape that isn't about avoidance, but about finding a safe harbor within your own mind, allowing emotional tides to settle. It helps in emotional regulation, giving us space to process difficult feelings in a less confrontational way, gradually finding a sense of balance and calm. Like a gentle rain that cleanses the air, reverie can clear the mental fog, leaving us feeling refreshed and renewed. So, as you can see, these quiet moments of mental drift are anything but empty. They are periods of profound cognitive activity, enriching our inner lives, sharpening our creativity, strengthening our social bonds, and offering a gentle balm for our spirits. They are a powerful testament to the intricate workings of our minds, always striving, always connecting, even when we feel we are simply floating. So these quiet moments of mental drift enrich our inner lives, sharpen our creativity, and offer a gentle balm for our spirits. Yet for some, this gift of imagination can grow so vivid, so consuming, that it casts shadows. We must understand, most daydreams are like butterflies. They land softly, flutter briefly, then drift away, enriching our waking hours with color and possibility. But sometimes, this beautiful, intricate capacity of the human mind, this internal theater where stories unfold, can grow so vivid, so compelling, so all-consuming, that it begins to cast long shadows over the landscape of our waking lives. This is where we encounter a deeply immersive phenomenon known as maladaptive daydreaming. Imagine, if you will, not just a brief mental image, but an entire story unfolding within your mind. Not in snippets, but in epic sagas, with fully formed characters who evolve over time, intricate worlds meticulously designed down to the smallest detail, and plots that rival the grandest novels or most captivating films. These aren't fleeting thoughts. They are deeply immersive experiences, so real within the mind that they can feel like a parallel existence. For those who experience it, these internal journeys are often triggered by very specific things: a particular piece of music, repetitive motions like pacing, or even a certain mood or emotional state. The emotional resonance is profound. You might find yourself feeling joy, sorrow, excitement, or even fear, as if living through the events of this inner narrative yourself. The world inside becomes a vibrant, throbbing reality, rich with sensory detail, a place where the ordinary rules of physics or social interaction might bend to the will of the daydreamer. The key distinction, the maladaptive aspect, lies in its control, or rather, the challenging lack thereof. It feels like being caught in a powerful, beautiful current, exhilarating in its flow, yet pulling one further and further from the shore of present reality. While a typical daydream allows us to easily dip in and out, maladaptive daydreaming often feels compulsory, a powerful urge that is difficult to resist, consuming hours of precious time. When these internal journeys become so overwhelmingly compelling that they begin to take precedence over the demands of the real world, studies left undone, conversations missed or only half heard, responsibilities neglected, or sleep sacrificed. That's when the experience shifts from a rich imagination to something that impacts daily functioning. It's like having a second, incredibly elaborate life running in parallel, but one that drains vital energy and focus from the primary, everyday existence. Individuals might find themselves withdrawing socially, struggling with concentration, or feeling a persistent sense of yearning for their inner world. But why does this happen? For many, these rich inner worlds serve a powerful, often subconscious purpose. They are sanctuaries. The mind, in its incredible ingenuity and its deep-seated drive for self-preservation, constructs a place of escape, a refuge where one can feel safe, powerful, understood, or simply distracted from pain. In the face of chronic stress, overwhelming anxiety, pervasive loneliness, or the lingering echoes of past trauma, the internal narrative offers a potent antidote. Here, one can rewrite narratives, find resolution to unresolved conflicts, achieve impossible feats, or simply rest in a world tailor-made for comfort and control. This coping mechanism, while offering profound temporary solace, can inadvertently create a cycle where the very act of escaping makes engaging with the challenges of reality even more daunting. Research, spearheaded by pioneers like Professor Eli Summer, who coined the term in 2002, has begun to illuminate this intricate phenomenon, suggesting a complex interplay with various aspects of our mental health landscape. It's not uncommon for individuals experiencing maladaptive daydreaming to also navigate the challenges of other mental health conditions. For instance, it frequently co-occurs with anxiety disorders, where the daydreams might provide a temporary calm from racing thoughts, a balm to an overactive worry center. Or with depression, where the inner world offers a vibrant, often idealized contrast to the dullness or despair of reality. There are also connections observed with conditions such as obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, where the daydreams might become a compulsion, a ritualistic escape that feels impossible to stop, or ADHD, where the mind's natural tendency to wander becomes extraordinarily elaborate and hyper-focused on these internal narratives. And significantly, there's a strong link to trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. For those who face difficult or overwhelming experiences, the internal narrative can be a profound way to reassert control, find a sense of agency, process emotions in a safe space, or simply hide from painful memories and overwhelming triggers. It's like the mind building a very elaborate, perfectly designed fortress against the outside world, complete with every comfort and every defense. But sometimes, one can become inadvertently trapped within its very comfort, finding the draw to remain inside stronger than the motivation to step out. While maladaptive daydreaming is not yet formally listed in diagnostic manuals like the DSM-5, the scientific and clinical communities are increasingly recognizing it as a distinct and impactful experience, deserving of understanding and support. Neuroscientific studies are starting to explore which brain regions are most active during these immersive states. Early indications suggest the involvement of the default mode network, DMN, a network of brain regions that is particularly active when we are not focused on the outside world, but are engaged in internal thoughts, self-referential processing, and imagination, perhaps working in overdrive or in a uniquely connected way during these profound inner journeys. Understanding this isn't about pathologizing imagination, for imagination is a sacred human gift. Rather, it's about acknowledging a challenging experience and offering support to those for whom their inner world, through no fault of their own, has become a source of distress or interference. If you or someone you know finds themselves lost in these intricate mental landscapes, know that you are not alone and that understanding and resources are continually growing. It speaks to the profound power of the human mind, its endless capacity for creation, and its deep inherent need for safety, meaning, and a place to simply be. Like a skilled gardener, we can learn to tend to all the landscapes within our minds, appreciating their beauty and the comfort they offer, while ensuring they don't inadvertently overshadow the essential, vibrant garden of our everyday lives. Like a skilled gardener, we can learn to tend to all the landscapes within our minds, appreciating their beauty and the comfort they offer, while ensuring they don't inadvertently overshadow the essential, vibrant garden of our everyday lives. Our inner worlds, whether vivid and bustling or tranquil and still, are always worth exploring with kindness, curiosity, and deep self-compassion. But these worlds are not shaped by our minds alone. They are also sculpted by the cultures we inhabit and the unique individuals we are. While the act of fantasizing is a universal human melody, the specific tunes we hum, the stories we tell ourselves, are as diverse as the stars in the night sky. Tonight, let us gently explore how the vast, interwoven tapestry of human culture and the unique constellation of each individual's being shape these most intimate of journeys. Imagine for a moment that culture is a grand, invisible architect, subtly shaping the very landscapes of our inner worlds. From the moment we awaken into this life, we are surrounded by a symphony of stories, images, and values, whispered by elders, emblazoned on screens, enshrined in ancient myths and modern tales. These are not merely external influences. They become the very building blocks, the structural beams, and the aesthetic flourishes of our daydreams. Consider the archetypal heroes and heroines woven into the fabric of human storytelling, from ancient epics to contemporary blockbusters and video games. These narratives provide readily available templates for our own imagined triumphs and dilemmas. A child growing up surrounded by tales of dragons and knights might find their daydreams populated by quests and magical creatures, their internal narratives echoing the heroism and villainy they've absorbed. Another, immersed in narratives of space exploration, might imagine themselves navigating distant galaxies, solving complex scientific puzzles. These cultural scripts offer a rich palette, a shared vocabulary of possibilities, influencing not just what we fantasize about, but even how we construct those narratives, providing a framework for plot, character development, and resolution within our own minds. Social scientists remind us that our daydreams are profoundly influenced by prevailing societal values. In a culture that highly esteems individual achievement and personal freedom, for instance, a daydream might often revolve around personal success or solo adventures. The self-made person narrative, prevalent in many Western societies, often fuels dreams of solitary greatness. Conversely, in a society where collective harmony and community well-being are prioritized, fantasies might more often center on shared accomplishments, nurturing relationships, or contributing to the group's prosperity. These cultural lenses subtly filter the world, and in doing so, they also filter the material from which our daydreams are spun, guiding the very desires and outcomes we imagine. Even the very acceptance and encouragement of daydreaming can vary across cultures and time periods. Some societies might foster a rich inner life and imaginative play, viewing it as a wellspring of creativity, spiritual insight, or wisdom. In such contexts, fantasizing might be seen as a valuable cognitive tool. Others might emphasize practicality, external productivity, and a strict adherence to tangible reality, perhaps subtly discouraging idle fantasizing, deeming it unproductive or a sign of avoidance. Yet the human spirit, ever resilient and endlessly creative, finds its outlets, adapting its form to the prevailing winds. With the advent of globalized media and the internet, we now witness a fascinating intermingling of these cultural influences. As individual minds draw inspiration from an ever-expanding library of global narratives, sometimes blending ancient myths with futuristic visions in their unique internal tapestries. But even within these broad cultural currents, each of us remains a unique vessel, navigating the waters of our minds in our own distinct way. This brings us to the fascinating realm of individual variations. Just as no two snowflakes are identical, no two internal worlds are precisely the same. Psychologists have found that certain personality traits play a significant role in shaping our fantasizing lives. For instance, individuals high in openness to experience, one of the big 5 personality traits, characterized by curiosity, imagination, aesthetic sensitivity, and a broad range of interests, often report more vivid, complex, and frequent daydreams. Their minds, it seems, are naturally inclined to explore the rich tapestries of what-if scenarios, to weave intricate narratives, and to delight in the interplay of ideas. They are the natural storytellers of their own inner universes, constantly building new worlds, populating them with characters, and exploring uncharted territories of thought. For these individuals, the boundary between the internal and external world might feel more fluid, their imaginations a constant, vibrant companion. Conversely, someone who is highly practical or more focused on external reality, perhaps scoring higher on conscientiousness, might still daydream, but their fantasies could be more grounded, focused on structured problem-solving or rehearsing future events with a high degree of detail. Even other traits like neuroticism can subtly shape daydreams, sometimes leading to more anxious scenarios or rumination on past mistakes, though even these forms of fantasy can serve a purpose in emotional processing, albeit a challenging one. These differences are not about better or worse. They are simply reflections of our unique cognitive styles and inner landscapes. Think of it as each mind possessing a unique internal blueprint, guiding the construction of its private theater. Our personal life experiences also act as powerful sculptors, deeply influencing the content and even the function of our daydreams. A challenging childhood, marked by adversity or trauma, might lead to daydreams that serve as a crucial refuge, a safe haven from harsh realities, offering solace, a sense of control, or an imagined space where desired outcomes finally occur. In such instances, fantasy becomes a vital coping mechanism, a way to process overwhelming emotions, or even to maintain a sense of self and hope. Conversely, a life rich in adventure, travel, and diverse encounters might fuel fantasies of further exploration and discovery, drawing on a vast wellspring of real-world experiences to construct ever-new imaginary journeys. Our pasts provide the ingredients, the raw materials, that we then creatively rearrange and transform within the crucible of our minds. What we've seen, what we've felt, what we've longed for, all of it becomes potential fodder for our quiet mental adventures, shaped by our individual histories. Even the very texture of our daydreams varies profoundly. Some people are highly visual, their inner worlds unfolding like vibrant cinematic scenes, rich with color, motion, and intricate detail. For them, a daydream might feel like watching a personal movie playing out behind their eyelids. Others might experience their fantasies more verbally, as an internal monologue, a vivid conversation, or a stream of written words in their mind's eye. Still others might primarily feel the emotions, the sensations, or the physical kinesthesia of their imagined scenarios, These are not merely preferences, but often reflections of underlying differences in how our brains process information and construct our subjective realities. It's as if each of us possesses a bespoke lens through which we perceive and create our inner stories, rendering them in our own unique sensory language. And then there's the brain itself, that marvelous orchestrator of our inner lives. Neuroscientists studying the default mode network, a collection of interconnected brain regions that become particularly active when our minds are at rest, when we're not focused on an external task, have found that this network is intimately involved in self-referential thought, future planning, memory retrieval, and, yes, daydreaming. It's a bit like the brain's internal spotlight, shifting away from the external stage and turning inward. The unique activity patterns, the specific strengths of connections within each individual's default mode network might even contribute to why some of us find ourselves drifting into fantasy more readily, more frequently, or with greater intensity than others. This complex neural machinery provides the biological substrate for our spontaneous flights of fancy, the quiet hum that supports our internal narratives. So we see that while society offers us a shared library of stories, values, and experiences, each of us curates our own unique collection, adding our personal annotations, weaving in our own experiences, and coloring them with the hues of our individual personalities. It's a beautiful dance between the universal and the intensely personal. Every daydream is a testament to this intricate interplay, a unique constellation shining brightly in the vast inner cosmos of the self. Every daydream is a testament to this intricate interplay between the universal and the intensely personal, a unique constellation shining brightly in the vast inner cosmos of the self. And now, as we stand at the threshold of tomorrow, we must ask, how will these ancient, intimate sanctuaries evolve in an age of unprecedented technological transformation? For millennia, our inner worlds have been private sanctuaries, shaped only by experience, emotion, and reflection. But imagine for a moment that this sanctuary is not an isolated chamber, but a boundless landscape, one that is now being subtly reshaped by the currents of technology flowing through our modern lives. Our exploration tonight carries us to the edges of what is known, into the shimmering mist of technological futures and the evolution of inner worlds. Think of your mind as a vast, intricate garden. For millennia, it was tended by the sun of experience, the rain of emotion, and the quiet hands of reflection. Now, we are introducing new tools, not just for digging and planting, but for seeing new colors, for hearing new melodies, for perhaps even cultivating entirely new species of thought and feeling within. One of the most profound shifts lies in how technology might augment our very thoughts, reaching into the deep architecture of our minds. Imagine a future where the delicate dance of your neural pathways, those shimmering threads of electrical and chemical signals, can be gently nudged, not just by learning, but by design. This is the promise of brain-computer interfaces, BCIs. We're already seeing early versions of this, like Whispers from the Future, where people with paralysis can move robotic limbs with their thoughts, or communicate through devices simply by intending to. But the horizon stretches far beyond restoring what was lost. Consider the notion of enhanced memory, not just recalling facts, but perhaps re-experiencing moments with vivid clarity, like stepping back into a cherished daydream. Or what if the haze of distraction, that constant companion in our busy world, could be gently quieted, allowing your focus to sharpen like a beam of light. This isn't science fiction for long. Researchers are exploring how BCIs could potentially refine our cognitive abilities, improving attention and even learning new languages or skills with unprecedented speed. Our brains are incredibly adaptive organs, a phenomenon scientists call neural plasticity. It means our gray matter isn't static. It constantly reorganizes itself, forging new connections and pruning old ones in response to every new experience. Technology, then, might become a new, powerful kind of experience, gently guiding this plasticity to sculpt new landscapes within our minds. Perhaps your capacity for creative problem-solving, your imaginative leaps, could find new avenues of expression, guided by sophisticated interfaces that understand the rhythm of your unique thinking. Your inner world, instead of just reacting to external stimuli, could become a co-creator with these intelligent systems. But the evolution of our inner world isn't just about boosting intellect. It's also about the delicate tapestry of our emotions. Picture a mirror that doesn't just reflect your outward appearance, but gently murmurs back the subtler hues of your emotional state. This is the realm of all-affective computing, where artificial intelligence is designed to recognize, interpret, and even respond to human emotions. Perhaps your future digital companion, whether it's an advanced AI assistant or a virtual presence, might learn the unique cadence of your joy, the quiet murmur of your sadness, the spark of your curiosity. It wouldn't just understand your words, but the emotional undertow beneath them, responding with a nuanced empathy that feels almost human. Could such interactions deepen our self-understanding, helping us navigate our own emotional currents with greater insight? Could an AI, observing patterns in our internal states over time, offer gentle suggestions for mindfulness, or alert us to brewing stress before it overwhelms us? The potential is there for a technology that acts not just as a tool, but as a subtle emotional guide, enriching the texture of our inner lives. Then there's the question of identity, that shimmering, ever-shifting core of who we believe ourselves to be. In a world increasingly intertwined with technology, our sense of self might expand beyond the confines of our skin and skull. This is the essence of the extended mind hypothesis, a fascinating idea put forth by philosophers David Chalmers and Andy Clark, suggesting that our minds aren't just located solely within our brains, but can extend to encompass external tools and systems that we integrate into our cognitive processes. Think of your smartphone not just as a device, but as an extension of your memory, a vital part of how you navigate your daily life. Now, take that concept further. What happens when your thoughts can directly interface with an AI? When a digital avatar in a virtual world feels as real as you as your physical self. When your memories are seamlessly archived and accessible not just in your brain, but in a secure digital cloud, perhaps even shareable with loved ones. The boundaries blur, like the edge of a dream fading into morning. Our internal map of what's self plus might become more expansive, more interconnected, less rigidly defined by biological limits. We might begin to perceive ourselves not just as individual beings, but as nodes in a vast, interconnected web of consciousness and information, each contributing to a collective tapestry of daydreams and realities. And what of creativity itself, that magical wellspring from which our daydreams often flow? Imagine an artist sketching a fantastical landscape, but instead of just a pen and paper, they have an AI co-creator, a muse that can instantly render complex visual details based on a fleeting thought or suggest new, unexpected directions, pushing the boundaries of imagination. This is already beginning with generative AI, capable of crafting intricate images, music, and stories from simple prompts. Our inner landscapes, our daydreams, could become rich, interactive environments where our nascent ideas are instantly given form, explored, and expanded upon with an intelligent partner. We might move beyond merely imagining a world to collaboratively building it almost instantaneously, making the boundary between a waking vision and a shared digital reality beautifully porous. The canvas of our consciousness could expand to include these digital realms where shared daydreams become tangible experiences, rich with detail and collaborative meaning. As we journey further into these technological horizons, the question inevitably arises: what does this mean for consciousness itself? That deepest, most profound mystery of our existence, the subjective experience of being alive, of perceiving, of feeling, of knowing. We perceive and feel. Will technology merely be a tool to enhance this consciousness? Or might it eventually lead us to understand its very origins, perhaps even to create new forms of it? These are questions that stir the mind like gentle breezes before a storm. Questions that will define the inner worlds of generations to come. Our inner landscapes, once sculpted primarily by natural forces and human interaction, are now beginning to be shaped by the ingenious hands of technology. And in this shaping, our capacity for daydreaming, for envisioning other possibilities, for weaving the fabric of alternative realities, will find new dimensions, new colors, new depths. The path ahead is not merely about what technology can do, but about how we, with our boundless capacity for wonder and self-reflection, choose to integrate these tools into the quiet, sacred spaces of our inner lives. The evolution of our inner worlds is a journey we are all embarking upon, a shared daydream taking flight. The evolution of our inner worlds is a journey we are all embarking upon, a shared daydream taking flight. The path ahead is not merely about what technology can do, but about how we, with our boundless capacity for wonder and self-reflection, choose to integrate these tools into the quiet, sacred spaces of our inner lives. And now, as these possibilities settle softly in our minds, let us bring our journey to its gentle close. And so, my dearest one, as the day's last light stretches its long golden fingers across the quiet room, painting the familiar with a soft, transient glow, and as the outside world begins its hushed preparations for slumber, we too gently bring our extraordinary journey through the wondrous, whispering realm of the daydream to a tender, tranquil close. Feel the quiet settling, like dust motes dancing lazily in a sunbeam, slowly coming to rest, the very air around us imbued with a sense of peace and a gentle sigh of completion. Our adventure today wasn't one that required maps or compasses, nor did it involve grand departures or boisterous discoveries in faraway lands. No, our journey was far more intimate, far more precious. It was a journey woven entirely from the silken threads of your own thoughts, a gentle exploration of the vast inner landscape of your mind. Remember how it began? Perhaps with just a whisper of a feeling, a fleeting image caught softly at the periphery of your awareness, or a silent, unfolding question, like a delicate, tender fern unfurling its fronds in the quietest, most peaceful corners of your consciousness. It was a unique spark, wasn't it? A tiny ember of curiosity or possibility, fanned by the very breath of your imagination, inviting you to simply wander. Within that precious liminal space, the usual rules of our waking world simply melted away, didn't they? Gravity became a mere suggestion, a friendly concept we could choose to acknowledge or to simply float above. Time, that ever-present orchestrator of our days, transformed into a gentle, unhurried rhythm, an ebb and flow where moments could stretch endlessly or compress into a fleeting sigh. Logic, our helpful guide in so many other endeavors, became a whimsical companion, free to wander off on its own little adventure, leaving us to revel in the delightful absurdity or profound symbolism of thoughts untethered. We allowed our minds to unfurl like an ancient, beautifully illustrated scroll of infinite possibilities, each delicate scene blending seamlessly, softly, into the next, painted with the very softest hues of imagination, reflection, and quiet wonder. There was no right or wrong, no should or must, just the pure, unadulterated freedom of thought, blooming in its own time. Think back to the exquisite feeling of it, that light, airy sensation, as if your very thoughts had grown wings, carrying you effortlessly wherever your inner compass pointed. It was utter liberation, wasn't it? A surrender to the currents of your own inner stream, an allowing of what simply is. There was no pressure to achieve, no destination to reach, just the unfolding joy of being, of contemplating, of discovering the myriad facets of your own inner world. We weren't striving for definitive answers, but rather allowing delightful questions to dance and twirl like fireflies in the dusk, permitting scenarios to play out like a silent, exquisitely choreographed ballet within the grand, private theater of your mind. This was a gift you gave yourself, a moment of profound, unburdened presence within your own being, an act of self-kindness. This journey showed us, didn't it, the boundless capacity of our own consciousness? How, even when our bodies were still and our eyes were open, our spirits could soar, our imaginations could weave tapestries of such intricate beauty and fleeting grace. Each daydream was a unique creation, a masterpiece woven from the delicate threads of our deepest ponderings, our hopes, and our curiosities. They weren't meant to be held on too tightly or to be analyzed with a critical gaze, but rather to be experienced fully in their moment, like a wisp of cloud against a clear blue sky, forming and dissolving with serene elegance. A gentle reminder that the most profound experiences are sometimes those that simply are, without needing definition or permanence. And as we reflect now on this winding down of our shared journey, feel the calmness that lingers, a warmth in the spaces of your mind. The daydream doesn't demand anything from us. It simply offers a space, a sanctuary where our minds can wander freely, unburdened by the practicalities and sharp edges of the world outside. It reminds us that there is a deep, tranquil wellspring of creativity and peace within each of us, always ready to offer solace and inspiration, a reassuring presence that lives within. Now, as the last vestiges of daylight soften into twilight and the world outside begins its hushed preparations for rest, our own minds too begin to settle. The magic of the daydream, that art of allowing thoughts to drift and explore, serves as a beautiful prelude to the deeper journey that awaits us. For just as we allowed our minds to wander freely in the light, so too will they continue their exquisite, meandering dance in the soft shadows of sleep. The same current that carried our daydreams will now carry us further into the realm of night dreams. The imagination, ever present, ever creative, simply shifts its canvas. The wonders we explored while awake, the boundless possibilities we painted in our minds, will find new forms, new expressions in the tranquil embrace of sleep. There is no end to this beautiful exploration, only a transition from one kind of conscious wonder to another, deeper kind, like a boat drifting from a sunlit shore into a moonlit sea. So, dear one, close your eyes now and let the echoes of our daydream journey soothe you. Feel the lingering sense of wonder, the satisfaction of having explored the vastness within. And know that as you drift into slumber, your mind, that remarkable explorer, will continue its peaceful journey. It will keep weaving its beautiful stories, painting its scenes, and dreaming its dreams, all through the long night. There is nothing to do, nowhere to be, except to rest, to be still, and to let the current of your inner world carry you into the most peaceful and wondrous of sleeps. You are safe, you are loved, and your mind is a beautiful, boundless place. Good night, dear one. May your dreams be as boundless and beautiful as the daydreams we shared. And now, my dear friend, as the day gently folds itself into the quiet embrace of night, let us take a moment to softly close the book on our wondrous journey. We have traversed vast, unseen landscapes, not with hurried steps, but with the gentle curiosity of a whispered thought. We have ventured into the very heart of existence, a realm so intricate, so profound, yet often hidden from our everyday gaze. Remember how we quietly stepped into that world, smaller than a speck of dust, yet teeming with life and purpose? We didn't need a grand telescope or a roaring rocket. Our journey was one of imagination, guided by the soft glow of understanding. We simply let our minds drift, like a feather on a gentle breeze, through the silent, bustling cities of the microcosm. We spoke of the tiny architects, the invisible builders that craft every leaf, every drop of dew, every beat of your own heart. We didn't name all their parts or chart every single pathway, for our purpose was not to memorize, but to marvel. We simply felt the quiet hum of their tireless work, the delicate precision with which they arranged themselves, forming patterns of breathtaking beauty and function. These are the ancient, patient hands that weave the very fabric of reality, a tapestry so fine, so detailed, it can only be truly appreciated with a quiet heart. And then we pause to observe the countless tiny dancers, the unseen inhabitants that flit and swim and glide through every corner of our world, and indeed within ourselves. We didn't need to understand their every move, only to feel the vibrant energy of their collective existence. They are the silent partners in life's grand ballet, each playing a vital, intricate role, contributing to the delicate balance that allows forests to grow tall and oceans to teem with life. Isn't it a comforting thought to know that even in the smallest drop of water, there is a universe of gentle activity, a symphony playing on, unheard by our ears, but felt by our souls? We didn't delve into complex theories or challenging equations. Instead, we simply allowed ourselves to be present with the idea that everything, absolutely everything, is made of these miniature wonders. From the solid ground beneath your feet to the soft air you breathe, from the light of the moon to the warmth of your own skin, it is all a magnificent assembly of the incredibly small. And in this realization, there is a profound sense of interconnectedness, a gentle reminder that we are all woven from the same miraculous threads, part of the same grand unfolding story. This journey wasn't about finding definitive answers, but about nurturing a sense of wonder. It was about feeling the quiet awe that comes from glimpsing the hidden artistry of the universe, knowing that beneath the surface of what we see and touch, there is an entire world of silent, intricate beauty perpetually at work. It's a beauty that doesn't demand attention, but simply is, constant and true, a source of endless fascination and peaceful contemplation. As you lie here, nestled in the comfort of your bed, perhaps you can still feel the gentle echo of that tiny world within you. The same wondrous processes, the same delicate balances, the same tireless, invisible work is happening right now, keeping you safe, keeping you warm, keeping you alive. It's a reassuring thought, isn't it? To know that even when you are still, even when you are resting, the microcosm within you continues its gentle, life-sustaining dance. There's no need to grasp it all or to hold on to every detail. The true gift of our journey was simply to open our hearts to the possibility, to allow a quiet sense of marvel to settle within us, to understand that the greatest wonders are often the most subtle, the most unassuming, the ones that whisper their secrets rather than shout them. And now, as your eyelids grow heavy and your breath deepens, allow that feeling of gentle wonder to accompany you. The world, both vast and microscopic, continues its peaceful rhythm. The stars will twinkle, the moon will shine, and the countless tiny wonders will continue their silent, beautiful work, whether we are awake to observe them or not. Let your mind drift, knowing that the journey through the wonders of the microcosm doesn't truly end here. It simply transforms. As you close your eyes, perhaps your dreams will become new landscapes for exploration, new pathways into the unseen, where the tiny architects and the silent dancers will continue their ballet just for you. Sleep now, my dear friend, and may your dreams be filled with the quiet, comforting magic of the universe, both within and without. Good night.